Olá, bom dia a todos. Saudar, em primeiro lugar, todos quantos assistem a esta nossa conferência. Saudar especialmente os nossos convidados, que é uma honra tê-los presentes neste nosso evento, e saudar igualmente todos os colaboradores da PRF. Permitam-me que, em primeiro lugar, faça uma especial saudação a todos os funcionários da PRF e queria felicitá-los pelos 30 anos que vão construindo a PRF connosco. Dizer-vos que sabemos que as instituições e as organizações são as pessoas que lá estão e a nossa instituição é o que vocês são. O sucesso destes 30 anos de PRF depende exclusivamente de vocês e, em primeiro lugar, queria felicitar-vos pelo vosso comprometimento com os valores da PRF e com todo o empenho durante todos estes anos. Muito obrigado a todos. Este último ano terá sido, com certeza absoluta, o ano mais atípico das nossas vidas. Tivemos que reaprender a viver, tivemos que reinventar-nos, tivemos que aprender a trabalhar de formas diferentes do que sempre fizemos, mas a verdade é que conseguimos fazê-lo de uma forma brilhante, conseguimos muito rapidamente reinventar-nos, conseguimos muito rapidamente encontrar outras formas de trabalhar, outras formas de resolver os nossos compromissos, e a verdade é que a forma como fomos capazes de ultrapassar todas estas dificuldades de uma forma tão rápida e tão brilhante são, de facto, um grande indicador que a PRF está preparada para as grandes mudanças que se avizinham, para as grandes mudanças e para os grandes desafios que a economia nos traz e, portanto, serviu basicamente para que percebamos que, de facto, estamos no caminho certo, estamos no sentido da mudança e estamos preparados para as grandes mudanças que o futuro nos vai trazer. Este mês de fevereiro celebramos 30 anos da PRF. São 30 anos ao serviço da indústria do gás. Foram 30 anos muito desafiantes, tivemos que nos reinventar muitas vezes, tivemos que nos adaptar, tivemos que saber ultrapassar as dificuldades que foram aparecendo, mas a verdade é que quando tento olhar para trás e quando tento perceber o nosso passado, vejo de facto uma linha comum, uma linha sempre muito constante de pensamento, uma linha de atuação muito constante. Os nossos valores são os mesmos desde o primeiro dia até hoje e são esses valores da ética, do rigor, da solidez, da dedicação ao cliente e da inovação que sempre nortearam a nossa atividade. E são precisamente esses valores que queremos manter no futuro e em tudo o que fizermos. Durante estes 30 anos de atividade, a PRF soube aproveitar as oportunidades que o mercado lhe foi trazendo e, sem dúvida, que o projeto do gás natural em Portugal foi um marco importantíssimo na vida da PRF. Este projeto veio nos obrigar a criar novas competências, a criar novas estruturas, obrigou-nos a aprender a trabalhar de uma outra forma e, claro está, deu-nos a oportunidade de podermos crescer para a empresa que somos hoje. E assim tem sido a forma de crescer da PRF. Vamos identificando as oportunidades, vamos investindo na criação de valor nas pessoas e capacitação dessas pessoas para desenvolver as atividades e assim vamos crescendo de uma forma sustentada. Também com o GNL aconteceu da mesma forma. Com as UAGs e com os postos de abastecimento aos veículos, surgiu a necessidade do mercado, surgiu a oportunidade, soubemos agarrá-la, soubemos criar as competências, soubemos criar a estrutura necessária para desenvolver esta atividade e é hoje, sem dúvida, uma das atividades principais da PRF, representando uma parte muito importante da nossa atividade. Esta fase da transição energética que estamos a começar a viver também traz à PRF um conjunto de oportunidades que acreditamos que soubemos aproveitar. Soubemos identificar as necessidades do mercado, soubemos identificar a oportunidade, criámos a estrutura, criámos as competências. Há 2 anos criámos uma área só dedicada aos projetos do hidrogênio. Temos formado pessoas, temos criado capacitação dentro de casa para responder às necessidades do mercado e temos a certeza que num futuro muito próximo a grande maioria da atividade da PRF se centrará com certeza absoluta na área dos gases renováveis. De facto, todas as áreas de atividade em que a PRF atua tiveram o seu início em Portugal. Sendo um país pequeno, mas a verdade é que tem muitíssimas oportunidades. E todas estas atividades que a PRF desenvolve tiveram início aqui em Portugal e que depois fomos capazes de escalar e de levar para muitas geografias. Também no caso dos projetos do hidrogênio, uma vez mais verificamos a mesma coisa. Estamos já a realizar os primeiros projetos em Portugal, a nível do hidrogênio, e sabemos que num futuro muito próximo teremos estes projetos igualmente noutras geografias, dentro e fora da Europa, onde estamos já a discutir diversos projetos para mercados como a Europa e como a América Latina. A indústria dos gases combustíveis está, sem dúvida, a atravessar momentos de grandes desafios, mas também, claramente, de grandes oportunidades. Independentemente dos desafios serem grandes, achamos que as oportunidades do que os gases renováveis vão trazer a esta indústria, as oportunidades são bastante maiores do que eventuais ameaças que possam acontecer a esta indústria. Temos a certeza que, com todo o enquadramento e com todas as oportunidades que são criadas para o desenvolvimento da indústria dos gases renováveis, sabemos que num futuro muito próximo, uma parte da nossa matriz energética será seguramente baseada em gases renováveis. Na PRF estamos muito atentos a toda esta transição energética que todos teremos que fazer, estamos muito atentos a todos os temas da descarbonização e sabemos que trará muitas oportunidades para a indústria do gás e especialmente para a PRF. Sabemos que a indústria do gás está em franca mudança, sabemos ou acreditamos até que o paradigma da indústria do gás ou da indústria dos combustíveis, de uma forma geral, pode estar até ela própria em mudança. Com a facilidade e com a competitividade da produção local junto aos locais de consumo das energias renováveis ou até dos gases renováveis como o hidrogênio, sabemos que o paradigma do consumo e da utilização da energia poderá mudar e estamos preparados na PRF para operar essa mudança. Para concluir, não posso deixar de agradecer aos nossos clientes que durante estes 30 anos nos têm brindado com a sua confiança e dizer-vos que estamos totalmente comprometidos em manter convosco o nível de serviço que sempre conheceram da PRF e garantir-vos que para os próximos 30 anos estaremos preparados para superar as vossas expectativas e tudo faremos com vista à vossa satisfação. Agradeço a todos a participação nesta nossa conferência. Espero que contribua para o esclarecimento de temas tão importantes como este que estamos a viver da transição energética e da descarbonização da economia. Dizer-vos que estamos totalmente disponíveis para vos apoiar nos vossos projetos e que da nossa parte foi um prazer e agradecemos uma vez mais a vossa presença. Obrigado.
O objetivo de um logotipo é obter o reconhecimento imediato do consumidor para uma empresa. Se para nós é claro que esse reconhecimento existe, também é para nós claro que as razões subjacentes à criação do anterior logotipo da PRF não espelham a realidade atual da empresa. Há cerca de 20 anos, a criação do logo da PRF aludia à esfera armilar do tempo dos descobrimentos e com isto estava subjacente a ideia da modernidade e da internacionalização. Pois bem, passados estes anos, a PRF evoluiu. Estamos presentes em diversos mercados espalhados por 3 continentes. A internacionalização já não é um objetivo, é uma realidade com mais de década e meia. Também a dinâmica da empresa é hoje outra. Todos nós sentimos isso na PRF e quisemos que este novo logotipo expressasse esta nova realidade. De um símbolo que representava um desejo, o da internacionalização, partimos agora para um símbolo que representa a globalidade da PRF. Um globo. Este globo encontra-se desconstruído por forma a representar a dinâmica e a capacidade inovadora da PRF. Também a forma heráldica foi alterada. Apresentamos agora um quadrado. O quadrado agrega significados como solidez e rigor, valores maiores para a PRF. Alteramos também o lettering, modernizamos-lo um pouco, mas mantivemos as cores que nos têm acompanhado ao longo destes anos, pois são, sem dúvida, o elemento visual que mais nos identifica. Quanto ao resto, nada muda na PRF. A ética, o rigor, a solidez, a capacidade de inovação e a dedicação aos nossos clientes serão sempre os nossos pilares. Senhoras e senhores, apresento-vos o novo logotipo da PRF.
Move é um posto de abastecimento de GNL móvel e é uma solução que surgiu após verificarmos a dificuldade que os diversos clientes que temos pelo mundo fora, que na sua grande maioria são comercializadores de gás, têm em apresentar aos seus clientes pontos de abastecimento num curto espaço de tempo, devido a todo o processo burocrático, licenças de construção, execução de obra civil e todas as demais especialidades envolvidas na construção de um posto de abastecimento standard. Este novo conceito não é mais do que um posto de abastecimento de GNL com as mesmas características técnicas do que um posto de abastecimento de GNL standard, mas onde todos os componentes estão instalados em cima de um semi-reboque e, assim sendo, para além de dispensar a realização de obra civil e a contratação de meios de elevação, tem uma grande facilidade e flexibilidade de instalação, devido ao facto de a unidade de enchimento, ao ser deslocada do semi-reboque, poder ser instalada de diversas formas, de acordo com o que for mais conveniente para o cliente final. Isto é possível devido ao facto de o Move ser fornecido com tubagens flexíveis isoladas a vácuo e fichas elétricas de encaixe rápido, facilitando bastante a instalação e, assim sendo, permitindo a instalação em menos de 2 horas. Com esta nova filosofia de posto de abastecimento, não temos dúvidas que apresentamos aos nossos clientes uma nova solução que, pela sua versatilidade e alto nível de desempenho, os ajudarão na expansão do seu negócio.
PRF presents Move LNG Mobile Refueling Station. PRF. Move with us towards the future. Over the last 3 decades, a lot has changed in the way we perceive energy, from the way we gather it to the way we actually use it. In all those steps, one thing matters the most. How can we make sure your energy gets to where it's supposed to be? And that's where PRF comes into play. PRF has been developing projects in several areas of the gas downstream sector, having already reached most of the continents, with subsidiaries in Spain, France, Angola, Mozambique, and Brazil, and headquarters in Portugal.
A PRF é uma empresa verdadeiramente verticalizada, oferecendo aos seus clientes soluções verdadeiramente chave na mão, desde a engenharia, à construção e montagem, até à operação e manutenção e supervisão de todas as infraestruturas e equipamentos na área dos gases combustíveis. Mais do que um fornecedor de equipamentos e serviços, a PRF é verdadeiramente um parceiro dos seus clientes, encontrando caso a caso a melhor solução e o melhor serviço para as suas necessidades, deixando para o cliente apenas a preocupação no seu negócio e o foco no seu negócio.
Operating in the market for 30 years, PRF works in a partnership manner with its clients, building a strong, long-lasting, and beneficial bond for both parties.
We are working with companies such as PRF because what we are looking for, what I am looking for, is not suppliers. I am looking for partners. And we, together with PRF, GNV and PRF, we thought together a way to build offer to answer our customers, because what our customers are waiting for are solutions for their mobility issues.
Our growth over the years has been sustained by solid standards, always striving for excellence in services. The recognized success achieved by our company relies on 5 pillars that sustain PRF growth: responsibility, solidity, the technological change drive, dedication to our clients, and an environmental responsibility sense.
We've been together with PRF in our last 20 years. I remember, for example, the last retail station that we built very close to our offices with PRF. That is a state-of-the-art station. It's probably one of the best ones in Spain. Not only on the technical aspects, but also in terms of volume, is one of the most used retail stations for LCNG in Spain. So therefore, having almost 500 clients refueling their cars and their trucks every day there, it was a really key project for us, and we had to give the best of ourselves, and so we rely on PRF to build the station and together I think we had a tremendous success with the station. We have branches, in the case of Molgas, everywhere in France, in the UK, in Italy, in Portugal, in Spain. And PRF has always responded to our requirements in all those countries.
The continuous search for new solutions, new products, and new technologies available in the market allowed the company to remain at the cutting edge of the technology and know-how regarding fuel gases, presenting nowadays a unique range of value-added products and services.
A PRF é sem dúvida uma das empresas muito relevante e com uma contribuição muito positiva para o desenvolvimento de todo este setor. Pelos conhecimentos técnicos, pela tecnologia e o domínio da tecnologia de todo o setor e também pela experiência que foi acumulando ao longo dos anos no desenvolvimento de vários projetos em todo o país. É uma satisfação perceber que empresas que acompanharam o projeto do gás natural em Portugal desde o seu início são hoje em dia empresas que estão também capacitadas em mercados externos e acreditamos seguramente que este saber, enfim, e as competências desenvolvidas no projeto Gás Natural em Portugal terão também potenciado a possibilidade da PRF crescer lá fora, mas mantendo em território nacional, e essa é uma satisfação, mantendo em território nacional empresas que acreditamos estarem preparadas com todo o conhecimento tecnológico, que são competentes tecnicamente e que também são competitivas e por isso apoiam o futuro e os desafios futuros que o setor do gás natural apresenta.
Our turnkey solutions cross all areas and include engineering and project design, regasification plants, refueling stations, LNG, CNG, renewable solutions, hydrogen and biogas, bunkering systems, support to gas distribution companies, gas regulation and metering stations, gas distribution networks, maintenance and assistance, metrology services, and Metro Mozambique in the LPG sector, cylinders requalification, storage, bottling plants, distribution, Progas Angola. PRF is not only a service provider, but also a certified equipment manufacturer, bringing its own knowledge to the way people produce specific components and systems that can maximize the potential of each installation. PRF has developed an online platform, WebCop, capable of monitoring in real time the installations per client request, bringing downtime and technical support to a completely different level.
A PRF há muitos anos que trabalha e colabora com a Galp em variedíssimos projetos, desde projetos mais tradicionais, digamos assim, a projetos mais disruptivos e inovadores. Neste caso, poderei falar mais na parte de GNL, GNC, parte de gás natural, mas acima de tudo encaramos a nossa parceria com a PRF como uma parceria de futuro, uma parceria que vai estar claramente alavancada na inovação e na disrupção que podemos fazer neste setor.
Para a PRF, o ambiente e a segurança são valores maiores e queremos contribuir para a melhoria da qualidade do ambiente onde vivemos. Também para os gases renováveis, a PRF desenvolve soluções completas, desde a produção, a armazenagem, a distribuição e a utilização de biogás e de hidrogênio. Continuaremos focados nos nossos clientes, e queremos continuar a ser um parceiro de referência pela qualidade, pela responsabilidade e pela inovação.
Being a gas service provider, we believe we have the opportunity and the duty to contribute to a better environment. Each time our partners create new ways of bringing cleaner energy to life, we also create new ways of getting it to where it's really needed, to people. ERF. Move with us towards the future.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to the conference, The Challenges and Opportunities for the Gas Industry in the Energy Transition. We are here today to debate this theme, and my name is Bárbara Silva. I'm the editor of Capital Verde by Eco, and we will have here today with us to debate this question. We have here with us Fernando Sarasola, CEO of Molgas, Gabriel Souza, CEO of Galp Gas Natural Distribution, Gordon Canning, Technical Director of Prima LNG, Laure-Anne Monet, Deputy Sales Director of NG, Moisés Ferreira, Business Developer of PRF, Nuno Moreira, CEO of Douro Gás Renovável, and Pedro Furtado, Gas Regulation and Tariffs Manager of RAN. Also, we should have here today with us Thomas Bonavoud, Head of New Products of Total France, but due to some events that we couldn't control, Mr. Thomas Bonavoud couldn't be with us today, so sorry for that. And we are going to begin with Fernando Sarasola, CEO of Molgas. And I will ask you, Fernando, so that you can what we have here to discuss today are the challenges and opportunities for the gas industry in the energy transition. And I would like to ask you precisely what Molgas, your company, is doing for this energy transition in working with gas. Is it investing in renewable gases? So please tell us, share with us what's the path that Molgas is pursuing in this energy transition.
Okay, thank you, Barbara. I suppose these are my 5 minutes now of presentation, right? This is the time.
Yes.
Okay, I'll answer the question in any case. So first of all, my sincere congratulations and actually happy birthday to PRF. It's an extremely young company with an extremely young CEO and handsome, so congratulations, right? It's an honor for me to share these moments with you and also to celebrate more than 20 years of relationship with PRF. I mean, Molgas, what we do in Molgas is a small scale company, and I think it's pretty well known. And I think that the people involved here, they know as well. So, and actually the definition of a small scale company is pretty easy to understand. So we distribute, sell, and transport the LNG, right? It's an LNG, today it's an LNG small scale company, but in the future will be only a small scale because for various reasons, right? So challenges, right? I suppose that when we talk about challenges and opportunities of the gas industry in the energetic transition, we're referring to hydrogen, because I mean,
you're nobody if you don't talk about hydrogen, and hydrogen is in every single speech today, right? So, and everyone has to show a solid knowledge on hydrogen, right? I would rather speak with more knowledge if I speak as an entrepreneur, right, which faces this transition as a great opportunity, right? Answering the question, we're not a sector, actually. We're a company focused on providing energy to our clients. So there will be, I'm sure that there will be a wonderful ecosystem in the future between cleaner energies, right? To give you an example, right, Molgas is developing a gas station in the northeast of Spain that will open at the end of this year, right? That will offer hydrogen for heavy trucks, will offer electric recharge for to recharge vehicles, light vehicles, and it will offer LNG as fuel for heavy trucks, right? So that's an example of the ecosystem that we're going to live in this transition, right? So in the first phase of the transition, we will have this ecosystem, and Molgas has to be able to provide all those services to the clients, right? There's a clear understanding of which source of energy will be the winner, right? There's nobody knows, a clear uncertainty, sorry, of which energy will be the winner in these rates. I think that gas will always, sorry? Yeah, I think that gas will always play an important role in this ecosystem, but again, we have to provide an energy solution at the end. We have to be present in the whole offer, if I can say it like that, of the fuels, right? The only main difference between hydrogen and LNG is that LNG is produced in the Far East or in Africa, in Latin America, or in the USA, and there's a need of liquefaction investment in order to achieve a logistic advantage with LNG. And hydrogen actually bring closer to the production of the gas, right? And we, for the first time in history, I think we all have the opportunity to be part of the production, right? If I may say this to create a little bit of controversy, the need to have a small scale business was based actually on the focus of the big utilities in the upstream and the middle stream, right? If you allow me, Lorana. So they were focused on the upstream, middle stream, and they leave the so-called last mile to companies like Molgas, right? So now what is important in this transition is the company who owns either a network of retail stations or owns the client in a way, and because there will be obviously a huge opportunity to become the energy provider of the client in any kind of energy. So Molgas is sort of converting itself into a small scale player, but not an LNG scale player, but also a hydrogen small scale player, taking advantage of that opportunity to produce your own energy, because actually, well, water and electricity is what is needed. And so Molgas is facing a great opportunity to produce its own source of energy. I don't know, that's pretty it. I mean, the thing is that knowing who is going to, or trying to forecast who's going to be the winner in this new ecosystem, I think that technology will tell. So we have to follow technology. We have to see the technology regarding vehicles and heavy trucks. If they develop a hydrogen-driven truck, a proper heavy truck, if how boilers develop, how the injection of hydrogen in the grid develops. But we will have to follow technology, and technology will, I suppose, will lead the way and will show us which of those fuels will be the winner. But again, and to finalize that, I think there will be a great ecosystem in which gas, biogas, and hydrogen will live together. that's pretty it. I've been.
Thank you, Fernando, for introducing us to Molgas and giving your vision of what and it's true. It seems that nobody is somebody until it starts speaking about hydrogen. It's true. So moving on to Gabriel Souza, CEO of Galp Natural Distribution. Gabriel, if you can give us your vision. You have a presentation. We also know that Galp Natural Distribution is already doing some pilot projects here in Portugal regarding the introduction of hydrogen in a small grids, in a small gas grid. So if you can share all of that and more with us, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. You can listen to me and also see the brief presentation.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
So first of all, good morning to everyone. And also I would like to congratulate Paulo Ferreira and all PRF team for the 30th anniversary. And thank you also to invite Galp Gás Natural Distribuição to have this presentation and to participate in your event. It's a pleasure. So just sharing with you some brief information about GGND and what we are doing regarding the energy transition and the challenges that we see for the future. So we manage 9 out of 11 DSOs, gas DSOs in Portugal, representing more or less 70% of the gas distribution market. So we manage around 13,000 kilometers of network, distributing 18.5 terawatt hours per year, and supplying gas to 1.1 million connection points and customers. Well, in these 9 DSOs, we have quite a long history, which we are proud to mention. The oldest company being Lisboa Gás. The origin is for the 19th century. It was the first concession agreement for the public lighting in Lisboa in the 19th century. Then we have all the other companies, the other DSOs that were created during the 90s, precisely to develop the natural gas in Portugal, which is quite a successful history in our point of view. And meanwhile, well, we have seen all the transformation on this sector. I would say that we are quite used to changes. Beginning with the project during the 90s, we went through the unbundling and liberalization already in 2008, and now for sure we will have the future challenges to receive renewable gas, to decarbonize our sector, and to be ready for the energy transition. So on this point, we are fully committed, and we see a strong potential regarding the gas assets that are, it's relevant to say that in Portugal, we have a modern infrastructure. The average age is around 15 years. So this is a competitive situation regarding other countries. We have a new network, very adequate to make the adjustments and to make the changes that will be needed to receive renewable gases, namely hydrogen. We are talking about a network that is quite modern, as I mentioned, and also which is mainly more than 95% built on polyethylene, which gives us a good position comparing with other European countries. Also, regarding the digitalization, this will be a key point to face the challenges of smart management of gas networks. This will be clearly one of the issues. Having multiple injection points will be a challenging with different injections of biomethane or hydrogen with different calorific values. So building also the digitalization of the network will be a key point to deliver a sustainable, reliable, and safe gas for customers. And of course, the evolution of the sector, I will say that after the experience and the track record that we had in the past, we will be now called once again to contribute to the decarbonization of the Portuguese economy. Regarding the projects that we have been working on, and as operators of a key energy infrastructure, GGND is committed to play its part in building a sustainable economy that will be carbon neutral in 2050. So managing also the 9 DSOs, it's clear for us that decentralization, and we are already feeling right now a relevant amount of projects that are bringing to our companies with the potential to inject hydrogen or biomethane in the network. So we will be clearly talking about decentralized injection with all the challenges that this will bring to us. And regarding the renewable gases, and not taking too much time, well, we have been working and we presented what will be the first project of hydrogen injection into the gas network in Portugal. We are talking about a quite small project, but we strongly believe that it will be a key element to develop the skills, to develop the tests, to test some solutions that will allow to embrace the hydrogen injection in our network. Also to mention that it's a key opportunity in this project with several stakeholders that we have acting in Portugal, and this brings me also to PRF, because we are working in this project together with several stakeholders that will show the ability and the potential that we have in Portugal. So we have not only a big potential about the low cost of hydrogen generation with photovoltaic projects, but we have also relevant stakeholders, companies like PRF acting on the engineering and technological topic. Also companies like Vulcano on Bosch Thermotechnology, which is clearly a company with excellency operating in Portugal regarding the solutions for water heating appliances. Companies acting on the inspection and control technical procedures. Excellent technological universities that are also participating. And if you allow me, I will say, and I assume that also Nuno Moreira and Pedro Furtado can agree with me, I would say also excellent gas infrastructure operators that are embracing this challenge to operate a renewable gas infrastructure in the future. Thank you, and we will be available, of course, for the debates following. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you so much for sharing with us that pilot project that you are developing. Now we go on to Gordon Canning, technical director of Prima LNG. Gordon, please tell us what your company is doing, what projects is developing.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for the invitation today. It's a shame we can't be face to face. We were just discussing it before we started. It's almost 1 year ago we were due to be in Portugal, actually this week. And unfortunately we're not there, but hopefully that will happen again in the future soon. So I'm Gordon Canning, the technical and safety manager of Prima LNG. Prima LNG is part of SHV Energy. SHV Energy is the largest LPG distributor in the world, but also has additional fuels like LNG, hydrogen, and it really sees itself as an off-grid energy supplier, an important part of the energy transition. The way we're sort of set up now in terms of looking to the future in this energy transition is there's kind of 3 main pillars. We have a sustainable fuels team, which is looking at the alternative technologies that are coming out there. How can we decarbonize the energy that we supply? Looking at new technologies that are out there. So hydrogen's we've touched on previously in a couple of presentations, but also we are now have a large supply of bio LPG. So also looking at bio or sustainable fuels, alternative fuels. Then the second pillar really is public affairs. It's a huge part of what's going to drive this energy transition, what will be the new policy mandates out there. So we're following that very closely on an EU level, an international level. There's a dedicated team involved in that. And then looking at investment. So what are the new investment opportunities for alternative fuels, for renewables? In terms of Primo LNG's position in there, so with the supply chain for LNG for Europe, we now have had a proud moment very recently that we changed all of our vehicles to delivery vehicles to run on LNG.
Gordon, excuse me. Can I just ask you to come a little bit closer to your microphone so that we can hear you a little bit better?
Yeah, is that better?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I was saying, as Primo LNG, we're the central supply chain for LNG for Europe for SHV Energy, where we support all the local BUs, business units. So people will know those as Primo Gas in France, Liquid Gas in Italy, Calais in the UK, and our part in that role of the energy transition, we're we see LNG still as a key part of the transition, particularly then moving in the future to bio LNG. So investigating projects, both how we can produce and also supply bio LNG. And then we also support the sustainable fuels team, looking at investigating the alternative technologies, be that bio DME, renewable DME even, hydrogen technologies, and how we can then implement those into the portfolio for SHV Energy.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Gordon, for sharing with us. Let's move on. Now we have Laurent Monet, the Deputy Sales Director of Engie. Hello, good morning. So Engie, it's quite a better known company. Can you share us what Engie is doing in the gas sector, in hydrogen, renewable gas, and so on?
Yes. Hello, everyone. So, bom dia in Portuguese, right?
Bom dia.
First of all, me too, I want to wish a warm happy birthday to PRF from us all, because my boss, Jean-Baptiste Furia, you've seen him during the film, and you've seen also nice views of our refueling stations. He really wanted to be there today. He couldn't attend, but he was very disappointed. So he told me, Laurent, you definitely need to go because PRF is a key partner for us, and we need to be there. So here I am. First of all, I'm not the Deputy Commercial Director of Engie, which is a very big company, but only of a small part, which is called GNVer, which is the company of the group active in the gas mobility in France. I prepared a small presentation, which I will share now. Up. Okay. Can you see my screen? Whoop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So GNVer, as I've said, is a company of the Engie Group. Engie is a worldwide, a big player of the energy sector, active in natural gas, electricity, renewable energies, energy efficiency. So a big company with 60 billion euro of turnover and present in 70 countries. So we are a small part of this big group, active in alternative fuel in France since more than 20 years. We are the leader of alternative fuel in France. Historically, we were active in public transportation and waste collection, so buses and dust carts. But more recently, our main focus is on goods transportation, which is a very dynamic sector as regards gas mobility and especially LNG. We operate today around 60 public stations. You have a small kind of map on the right, but we are present in 11 regions out of 12, the 12th being Corsica, where there is no gas. So we are present everywhere, mainly. 60 public stations, of which around 12 LNG and LCNG stations. We have 4 others about to open in the two next months. Last but not least, we also have a few customers, industrial customers running on LNG with satellite plants. This image describes our competencies. We have competencies around the whole value chain of gas mobility, from commercial development to engineering, building stations, operating and maintaining the stations. We have also organized a specific activity in logistics and supply. We ensure we guarantee our own supply of our LNG stations. And then we have also the support functions. We have everything internal, so we function like a PMI, and it's quite nice, I have to say, to work in this company. Last but not least, NG, GNVR and PRF. As I said, PRF is really a partner for us. We grew up together on the market of LNG mobility technologies, meaning that we try to develop and to innovate together. PRF is listening to our needs, is listening to our expectations and tries to make them become true and to find solutions. That's why as of today, 5 of our LNG refueling stations have been developed and built by PRF. 5 others are under construction, of which 3 mobile refueling stations. That's an innovation for the French market, a new technology which we developed together, as I just said. Besides that, we rely on PRF for some consultancy and expertise services. We call them when we have some doubts, when we have some questions about our own installations, of our customers' installations. And there is a really trust relationships which was built. And we really appreciate working with PRF for that relationship, their customer orientation, and their support of every day. That's it for my side. Available for any question.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lorraine. We'll go from here to Moisés Ferreira, business developer of PRF, the representing the company that is celebrating the birthday today. Moisés, can you share then with us Capital Verde by Eco published today an interview with Paulo Ferreira that has already shared with us and with our readers what has been the path of PRF in these 30 years. that you have been dedicating for most of the entire part of the 3 decades to fossil gases. And then 2 years ago, you started looking and developing and created a new business area dedicated to renewable gases, and then started your path and have already some projects on hydrogen and are hoping that this part of the renewable gases that today is very small will become very big in the near future. So I am already disclosing some of the things that probably you are going to say, but it was a very interesting interview with Paulo Ferreira, and so please tell us a little bit more.
Hello, good morning to all. Of course, first of all, I want to congratulate PRF today, and also Paulo Ferreira, the CEO, for the project that he developed from the beginning, from 30 years ago. In fact, it's a pride for me to be part of this team, PRF, and it's a pleasure to be part also of this celebration and to count with me have this discussion with you. I want to thank also the guests for their participation on this event. Some of them have followed our growth and worked with us on maybe more than 20 years. Some of them more recently in the European market. So thank you all, and thank you for the nice words I just heard from you. It's really proud to hear that. Of course, thank you for the audience that are listening to us. To answer your question, yes, as Paulo told on the speech, on the opening on the event, we start to create our, let's say, a business unit in PRF, just focus on the hydrogen. So we started the research, we create the team with some people that we have already in PRF, with some knowledge of the LNG and gas and LPG, but also hiring new people. And what we are doing with hydrogen, it's nothing more than we are doing in the last 30 years. And I'm saying this because we started on LPG 30 years ago. And after that, we have the first, let's say, challenge to move to natural gas. So we had at that time to adjust, to improve ourselves, to growth, and to be available. And available, I mean technical, speaking, and training the people to work with the natural gas. And after that, 20 years ago, we did the same with LNG. We did our first project with LNG in 1999. So we moved forward to the LNG. After that, maybe 6 years ago or 7 years ago, we did our first biogas project. So we did the same. We have to improve, we have to research, we have to move forward. And we started working with biogas. And what we did 2 years ago, it's the same, but with hydrogen. We believe and that the future will have a lot of business with hydrogen. But in my opinion, I agree with Fernando when he says that in the future will be hydrogen, but also LNG and natural gas and even LPG. So it's my perspective. We will have all of these ways of energy to work. So for one hand, we are growing and we are thinking on the future with the hydrogen, but we didn't forget the other energy that we are working. And you could see on our presentation this morning that we just developed a new solution to refuel LNG on a trailer, on a mobile solution. So that's what we did. That's what we do, and that's what we've been doing. Looking for solutions on the engineering part, trying to develop new solutions to our customers according to the needs of the market. So we did it with LPG, did it with the natural gas, LNG, biogas, and now hydrogen. So we move forward to new ways of energy, but we're still looking and develop solutions for, let's call, the old ways of energy. So we are an engineering company, that's what we are doing. And what Lorraine told, it's really, and I thank you for that, that's really what we want to do with our clients. It's to give them all the support, to hear their needs and to answer to them, looking for new solutions, new ways of work, and always in the partnership with our customers. That what we are, that what we want to be also in the future.
Thank you so much, Moisés. Thank you so much. Okay, we are at a very good speed. Let's move on then to Nuno Moreira. Good morning, CEO of Douro Gás Renovável. Also a Portuguese company, also a company with quite some experience already in renewable gases and doing this transition. So Nuno Moreira, I ask you to share with us and with the audience some of the path that Douro Gás is doing in this energy transition and what is doing with bringing the gas to the center of this same transition.
Okay, thank you, Barbara. You listening to me?
Yes, quite
okay. Well. I will share the screen, just to do a brief presentation. Indeed, we are together with the PRF since the last 26 years. First of all, I have to congratulate Paulo. Paulo is a very special person because he's really a very good entrepreneur in the right sense of the word. And also congratulate, of course, yes. Okay. Wow. Can I try to get the screen again, like this one? Like that? No. It's okay now? Are you seeing the complete screen? Okay. Thank you very much, Moisés. So PRF is really part of our history. We've been together since the last 25 years, and mostly what we've been doing is develop in three steps. We've been developing first in natural gas grids, then we involved in NGV stations, and now we are on the renewables and H2 production. It's good to see, and it's really a challenge when we see our history really connected with PRF. On the left side, we have our grids. We are in 34 municipalities, and most of them, or almost all, PRF have been involved in this development of the technological solutions. And also from the right side, we must also see that in the very first LNG station of Portugal in Mirandela, PRF was involved. So we are together with PRF since ever, and we are part. So we have this common goal of developing the solutions for our clients. And in the next future, we are getting also involved on the carbon-free energy industry. So carbon-free, as we call it, carbon-free energy and mobility. Just take attention that exactly last year we opened 4 new LNG stations for our clients, and also again with PRF involved. The sales are going well on natural gas from 2008 to 2019 with a 67% increase. Also, considering that we deliver to more than 600 heavy-duty vehicles every day inside, as an example, inside to Lisbon Airport, or public transportation, or even on interesting transportation of oil, where it says that they are green when using NGV. It's very interesting, the things we've been doing together. And what we would like also to stress is the future. We are the leaders on renewable gas in Portugal at this moment. And we believe that that's the right way to help the energy sector, also between the buildings, so natural gas for buildings, and also natural gas for trucks. We have the first project on biomethane production. So we already are producing biomethane from a CVO installation in Mirandela. It's being connected to the grid. We hope that to be the first project to be connected to the grid in Portugal. And also we have the station that is ready to work, and it's on the development to be the first station on biomethane in Portugal. We have several and continuously new projects since that very beginning in biomethane. We have other projects in biomethane. We are together with PRF on H2CS project, part of the IPCEI project. And also we are planning and we are building the first bio H2 station in Portugal, and hope to get synthetic fuels with power to methane projects that we are developing. So this is the new trends that we are trying to move again together with the PRF. I hope that in the near future we can build a station like this, all connected with carbon-free fuels, since carbon-free LNG, carbon-free CNG, carbon-free H2, and who knows, carbon-free electricity. So it's one of our common path. And again, congratulations to PRF, congratulations to all your team, and of course, thank you to be part of our history also. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nuno. Is quite a vision for the future, that hub, that energy, decarbonized energy hub for the future. Thank you for sharing with us. And now to end this first round, we have Pedro Furtado, Gas Regulation and Tariffs Manager of REN. Pedro, if you can share with us this, REN has a different vision, a more global vision of the grids, and about precisely the challenges and the future and opportunities that all of these things that these companies are doing, and the things that they are bringing to the table. the challenges that this is going to represent for the network, for the grids. And so I ask you to share with us what are those challenges and those opportunities from the point of view precisely of the network, of the grids.
Thank you. Good morning to all. And I'd like first to thank Paulo Ferreira and PRF and congratulate them for this 30 years of adventure. I started also in the gas business many years ago, and doing exactly the first LNG satellite plant. And it is really good to see the success and the drive that Paulo Ferreira and his company is bringing to our environment of networks and technologies. So, REN is basically natural gas and electricity TSO. And this is very important for us because it really gives us a total global view of what's going to happen in the future. And we feel as public service providers that this is also in our hands to make it viable and possible. So we believe that in the future, electricity will play a major role, either from central distributed generation, but gas will have a role. And for that, we have to congratulate what the vision of the government gave following what was happening in Europe, and by making the path possible so we can start this way forward in order to implement the future with low carbon fuels. Gas is definitely a solution. Gas and pipelines are the cheapest way to drive energy to consumers, and it has a major role, and the government has seen that completely, and this shows in the targets, and this gets together with the challenges for the network operators. And for us as network operators, this has a dual challenge between what has to be made possible to incorporate the new green gases in our network, and also what has to be done in the power grid in order to accommodate and make viable a lot of things that need to happen. Because we believe that although the new gases will require some effort locally, it will still require more help from the power grid also to make a full business case viable. So this was an act of courage from the government, and we welcome this because the Decree Law 62 has set the stage for operators to really embrace the future. And this allows or impends over the operators the requirement to make this fully capable of receiving renewable gases, and also a lot of new ideas and obligations. Network planning must incorporate these new realities. And I'm just explaining this here because it's a major challenge. We've been all now discussing injection in the network, but we have to bear in mind that the amount you have to inject in the network has to do with the amount of hydrogen, which is the most difficult case, that you have injected before, and the amount of hydrogen you want to inject afterwards. All this has to be coordinated and has to be set in a way that the full gas system is able to incorporate the maximum possible amount of hydrogen or renewable gases. And this is a big challenge. I know it's not so sexy, but it really is mind-blowing and requires a lot of effort from the network operators, both distribution operators and the TSO, and needs a close coordination so everybody has access to its full share of getting the access to the network and to make their production available for the future. One thing is important also to mention, that until 2030, and regarding the goals that were set by the government, and correctly, we are still speaking about using natural gas compliant, in general, fuels. So this gives us 10 years to plan ahead and understand what we have to do from 2030 onwards to incorporate larger and larger capacities for hydrogen and renewable fuels. This will buy us time to understand the technology evolution that will finally set the stage to understand what will be the way forward in the next 5 years. We believe that until that time, a lot of things will happen, and we are working closely with universities and research institutes to try to reach the best solutions possible to make this viable. So this is only, you don't have to read it, it's just a list of the things we have to do in our doing in order to accommodate the requirements that are necessary to bring a full operational and client-focused operation with renewable gases, in particular hydrogen. I'm speaking about hydrogen because although we are both technological and fuel agnostic, we have to get ready for the worst case scenario. And in fact, hydrogen is most challenging. So we need to get ready, and we are doing this already, and we are now receiving the first projects to inject hydrogen in the network, and we feel that is a very good sign. We look forward to make it possible, to make it happen with the requirements that are still being discussed, but we have now solutions that can help to make this happen as soon as possible. So we have to welcome the government for the courage and the guidance, and this is definitely the way for the future, because we believe that in the future the fuels will have to be carbon-free. And the carbon-free fuels, whatever the fuel you're discussing, always start with hydrogen. So thank you. I'm open to discussions afterwards. I'll stop here.
Thank you so much. Yes, let's start our discussion. I think it's great that we ended precisely with Pedro Furtado. Yes, Pedro? Pedro? Está a ouvir? As I was saying, you are not listening to me, Pedro? Pedro, consegue ouvir-me?
Agora sim, peço desculpa, tive aqui problema.
Okay.
Okay, peço desculpa.
Okay, let's carry on. I was saying that I think it's great that we ended up with you precisely because you can give that more global view and approach to this space of the specific on the network and on the grids. Do you think that sorry, some interferences. Do you think that this small pilot projects like the one in Seychelles that is being tried, and some others. I think that there is one in Évora also, in a small closed grid where it is being tested, the injection of small amounts, 5%, I think, I don't know if more, of hydrogen in the natural gas grid. Do you think that this can, Pedro, do you think that this can escalate? Or you were saying that it is great that this project exists, and you hope that they can become bigger. How much time do you think that this can take? From small projects to bigger experiences?
First of all, thank you for the question. The issue is it's very important to start to make this happen. Why? Pilot projects are required to test solutions. And why do we need to test solutions? To get cost optimal solutions for what is required. This is quite new. So I think probably Portugal is leading the way forward in this type of approach due to this concentrated view of what needs to happen. So we need to test measurements, connections, physical things, and business cases that need to be developed. So it's all still to be done, and we need to test. We need to make it evolve, and we are willing to do that with the producers that come to us in order to help and bring new standards that can help us all to make what we feel is fundamental, to create a playing level field for all the producers, to make this goal for Portugal, the requirement of having hydrogen and other renewable gases, a solution that is cost effective. So we look forward for more and more pilots and to learn from them and to make this learning public, because we need to translate this to everyone so everyone can make a better way forward.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. I would like to know from Moisés and Gabriel if you can give us more details on the project in Seixal, how it's going on, if you have if it's too soon to have any results since it's starting. What can you tell us about what's going on the field that is being tested?
So if you allow me, Moisés, maybe I can share some previous information. The project is complete in terms of the concept. It was already presented to the Portuguese authorities. We have a green feedback from the Portuguese regulator, and we are fine-tuning some issues to begin the working process. It's relevant to say that we are not only talking, as I mentioned previously, it's quite a small project. And as Pedro mentioned, I think this is an optimum way to begin testing some solutions, to test some technologies.
It's around 100 clients, or
more or less 80 customers,
okay.
mainly residential. There is also one industry, but as Pedro mentioned, this will allow us to test the injection control procedures. It's important to say not only we will have injection from 2% until 20% blend on hydrogen, but it will also include one line of 1.4 kilometers of 100% hydrogen. This is the line connecting the producer of hydrogen to the mixing point on the reduction station. So this is very relevant, is very positive to have the possibility of having these field tests. And the pilot test, the demonstration concept is absolutely needed. I would like also to emphasize, in my point of view, we are currently going through the regulation revision following the Decree Law 62/2020. And I think it's quite positive, the message that we are getting from the regulator, that is including in the revision of the regulation precisely the demonstration projects, the pilot projects that will be absolutely needed. And one of my concerns on my points that market will be moving. We are already now seeing the first signs of producers that are willing to inject. And we need to prepare our infrastructures. And once again, we are fully committed to make it. But this concept of demonstration project is absolutely needed. Check operations, check equipments, check digitalization regarding the management of different gas flows entering the network. This will be absolutely needed. So
is it possible to, sorry to interrupt you, is it possible to know where the hydrogen is being produced? Is it already being produced, and
yes.
At what prices?
Yeah, so for the moment, under this demonstration project, the price is included in the cost that we shared with all the demonstration project. We are talking about slightly, around $500,000 for developing all the project in 2 years. The project, the hydrogen generation, will be in an industry that is on Seixal Industrial Park that already built the photovoltaic generation. So we are talking mainly about green hydrogen.
It's with electrolyzers.
Precisely. And in some parts of the year or of the day will be also supplied with the electricity from the network on a green contract for electricity. So we want to deliver on a full green hydrogen generation. On the side of the producer, everything is ready. And as I mentioned, we are just fine-tuning the final questions to build this 1.4 kilometer line to connect and begin injection as soon as possible.
All right. So it's not producing hydrogen. It's not like it's not a distant thing. It's already on the brink of happening.
Yes.
When do you think that you can be producing the first hydrogen? Or
well, after receiving the green light from the authorities closing the project that was already presented, we will have around 2 months to build all the equipment. So we would like to consider that until the first half, until the end of first half of this year, we have hydrogen injection on Seixal network.
Okay, thank you. Mas sorry, I was a little bit carried on the conversation, and I was not letting you talk. Yes.
I fully agree with Gabriel. I just want to reinforce that, as Gabriel said on the first question, it's really amazing how all the players are involved on this topic, on this prototype. And when you, Barbara, asked if everything is ready, yes, we have been working on our factory, working closely with the other companies involved on this project, doing some tests, doing some ASOP meetings to check all the process, what could failure, what can we improve on the system, what are the opinion of different players to this point, because everything is new for everyone. So I just want to reinforce that we are working on that since I would say last year, maybe 1 year, working on this. So yes, we have everything ready. As Gabriel said, as soon as we have the green light, we have everything tested and ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Moisés, I will go from here also with you, because one thing that I was discussing with Paulo Ferreira was also we were talking about because hydrogen has multiple layers, and then now we are talking about the injection in the grid. We also have mobility, we also have industry, we also have many things. And one of the things that I was discussing with Paulo was that was about mobility, and the fact that Portugal is manufacturing buses that run on hydrogen, and maybe this year we'll have the new Toyota that also is going to be running on hydrogen, but we don't have points to fill the cars like gas stations or the places where we charge our electric vehicles now, and that is an area where you have already experienced with LNG, and you are also going forward with the hydrogen. And so I would like to know what you are doing in that direction, if you are doing it with Douro Gás, giving the presentation of Nuno Moreira, and what are you doing in that area? My final question is that in 2021, is it possible for a car, for a bus that runs on hydrogen, not to have to go to Spain to fill up the car or the bus to be able to go on the road?
Okay, that's a difficult question. If it only depends on us, I would say yes, we can make it this year. But as I told you before, we are the services company. We are not selling gas. We are not the competition of our customers. So we don't want to sell energy. We don't want to sell gas or hydrogen. So we do the infrastructure to the companies that are able to sell it. So I think this question you have to ask to Lauren Anne, if it's in France, or Nuno Moreira if it's in Portugal.
Okay.
If it only depends on us, yes, we can do it. But
but you are working, because I talked to Paulo, but he didn't tell me which country you were working with, but now I understand what is who are the partners. So I will go to Nuno that has already his hand up.
Barbara, just to put that, when we started this business unit in PRF, the focus on hydrogen, the idea is with the knowledge and the experience that we have from the natural gas, from the CNG, from the LNG, trying to use this experience on hydrogen. So of course there's a lot of differences we have to respect, okay, but we believe with the experience we have, we are one step closer to the solution. So nowadays we develop some relationship with some suppliers. Okay, we develop our own solution in terms of engineer, and yes, we are able, and we are discussing with some customers some solutions to build refueling stations here in Portugal with different operators, but also in Austria with OMV, in Spain. And most recently with GenVet, we will have another meeting now in March with the technical team. So yes, they are able to discuss and to present and to build it as soon as possible.
Yes, because you are working with renewable gases not only in Portugal but in the various geographies that you work with in. That's something that Paulo also mentioned in our interview.
Yes,
Europe, Latin America.
Yes. The know-how that we have and the experience that we have in Portugal, we can use it, let's say, anywhere. So that's why we are doing a lot of LNG satellite plants or refueling stations in Norway or in Scotland or in Austria or also in Brazil. We started, for instance, this LNG refueling station. We started this activity in 2005 in Brazil. So yes, we can, let's say, use the experience anywhere. So that's not an issue to be here in Portugal. We can be anywhere, everywhere.
Okay, thank you. No. So yes. Sorry, I will repeat the question for you. Will Portugal have in 2021 a power station to fill up vehicles that run on hydrogen and not have to depend on Spain to fuel our beautiful buses?
I will end this part with that reply. So just a little bit suspense, but I have to say also that we are very happy to be here, considering that it's most of the questions is most of what we've been doing since the very beginning 25 years ago. Yes, we also can conclude that the government initiatives about the way gas industry will participate in the carbon-free world, it's very open, it's very new. Since the last 3 to 2 years, we've been develop a path or solutions that gas industry can participate, because it's very important to see that some part of the energy consumption, mostly transport and also industry, we are deliver a very huge part of the energy consumed in Portugal, and we want to be part of this decarbonized world. So I agree with Pedro and Gabriel when they say that we are on a very good moment. In Dorogas, we have this, as I showed you, this very first biomethane project. We have already submitted it to the government, to the General Direction of Energy, the request to be connected to the grid. I think probably will be one of the first, if it's not the first project to be in the connection to the grid. And also we already put the licensing of the station of biomethane stations for trucks. In this project we will have, and it's approved, we will build there an electrolyzer and also a methanation plant. So in this project we'll have biomethane, we'll have hydrogen, and we'll have e-methane. So methane produced from hydrogen and CO2. Because when you produce biomethane, you get methane and CO2. We will use this CO2. It's already approved. It's on construction. So on this side, we want to have a cluster of renewable gases, and we will inject the 3 kinds of gases differently, and also have this experience. It's connected to a almost 2 kilometers grid with some industrial clients and some domestic clients. And we wanted to test all of it in the near future. So it's a cluster that we, of course, want to change information with Gabriel and his team about Seychelles projects, because I think all of us will learn a lot if we can go together. We have other projects also with PRF on big scale production of hydrogen and transportation and mobility, but we have one special project, as I told you, in Lisbon area,
where we will produce hydrogen from biogas, and then we'll build a station. It's approved. It will begin the construction next month. I hope that the PRF can participate on this project. Mostly PRF as being participate in almost all of our projects. So even if not total, somehow in part, and we help each other. We need each other on that. So the question is yes. I hope that in the near future, if not the end of this year, beginning of next. So the construction will be starting soon. We already signed the contract with so it's a investigation and research project approved, and we already signed the contract with ANI, the National Authority for Innovation, and so the grant is ready. We'll start. It's a project with almost all universities in the country. We'll be together to develop this project.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing the news and all the different things that are going on. We talk too much about hydrogen, but then there are also other renewable gases, and they all. I'm not an engineer, apart from that, but then it seems that they all mix together and that they all tend to combine, and then it's a bright future ahead. Lauren, I ask you to share with us, as Moisés was speaking, the experience of your company in France, of doing this project. What can you share with us?
Yeah, thank you. During my presentation, I didn't mention hydrogen. It's true, because it's not yet something we developed together with PRF. However, as Moisés said, we are starting discussions, and in the future, it will be surely a new axis of collaboration. Anyway, as regards hydrogen, ENGIE is strongly believing in that technology. Just to show you how strongly we believe in it, a couple of years ago, the group created a dedicated business line working worldwide on the hydrogen topics, from industry to mobility. As regards mobility, as GNVer, we already operate 18 hydrogen stations, refueling stations in France. So to answer your question, if you come with your Toyota, for example, in France, you can refuel it on one of our stations. However, there are, for the moment, still small-scale stations, distributing a few kilos per day. We have only 2 bigger stations for buses. Most of these stations are with local production of hydrogen, so it's green hydrogen from renewable energy, and that's very important because it's really where we want to go. However, it will take time to reach an industrial scale of hydrogen for mobility. My point of view is that we cannot afford waiting 5, maybe 10 or 15 years that hydrogen reaches industrial scale to decarbonize transportation. As you know, transportation is responsible for 25% of the emissions, and we really need to act today. And for that, natural gas, and even more its renewable version, biomethane, biogas, is the present solution. I think as of today, we really need to focus on that technologies, still investing and learning on hydrogen in parallel. So that's something we as ENGIE are really believing. For today, all our stations are distributing bio CNG, so the renewable version of CNG. And in the ENGIE group, we are present on biogas on the whole value chain. So we are the first producer of biogas, and we also are the first, let's say, seller of certificates of biogas. So we really are able to provide biogas on all our refueling stations. And moreover, we try to get biogas from local producers, meaning that we are really at the heart of the circular economy, which is one of the main advantages of biogas and biomethane. So hydrogen, yes, we start today. It will be even more true tomorrow. But as of today, let's point on natural gas and biogas.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lohan. I would like to go back to Fernando. I don't know if he's still with us.
Yes, I am still with you.
Hello, Fernando. I don't know if you can give us. You told us that Molgas was a small company, but can you? I don't know if you can give us the perspective of Spain, of your region, of what is going on in the area where you operate.
Yes, well, I didn't say that Molgas was small. I said it was involved in the small scale business, right?
Molgas, I'm so sorry. Okay.
Don't worry. So Molgas actually is the biggest small scale company in Europe, right? So we're leaders in France, we're leaders in Spain, in Portugal, in Italy. We're in Ireland, and we're in the UK, right? So, answering to your question, the thing is that I fully agree with Nuno from the Eurogas. I mean, the value that we have is that we already built a network of retail stations, right? In which we can offer that hydrogen or that ecosystem that I was talking about in my presentation, right? Not only on transport, but also on industrial clients. We own 130 satellite plants where we're providing natural gas to our industrial clients. That in the future will, if possible, and if technology allows to do that, they will convert into hydrogen. So I mean, the situation or the position of companies like the Eurogas, like Zenver or Molgas is wonderful, because they already built one of the pieces of that multi ecosystem that will be in the next few years in Europe, until one of the technologies will win in a way, right? So in Spain, we're involved in a lot of hydrogen projects. We are involved, obviously, in biogas too. We owned our own biogas production facility in the northeast of Spain, and we're obviously applying. We haven't talked about the facilities that Europe is giving in terms of subsidies, right? But we have applied for a huge project of 1.2 billion to invest in photovoltaic energy produced only for the production of hydrogen, and the construction of 21 hydrogen retail stations, part of them in our existing network. So I think that companies that have been working on LNG and have specialized, as Eurogas or my French colleagues, they have an extremely good position. to be protagonist in the hydrogen world. But as I was saying, it's the first time that a small-scale player, in the sense of a last-mile company, will be in a position to produce its own energy that afterwards is going to deliver.
Okay, thank you so much, Fernando. Thank you for sharing with us the perspective of our neighboring country. Thank you so much. Now we have to make a break here in our debates, and we have to stop and listen to our Secretary of State of Energy, João Galamba, that has another meeting at 15 past 12. So now I will give the floor to João Galamba to share his vision. He's been listening quite closely and quite attentively to what has been discussed here all morning. So I will give the floor to João Galamba to share his vision with us and to close our debate. Secretary of State, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Barbara. Good morning to all the participants. And I would like to thank PRF for its invitation. And I would like to congratulate PRF for its 30th anniversary and for its long history, which is a history of success that makes Portugal proud to see a company, a national company, so relevant in our energy sector, and that grew from a small installator and is now a reference company in the energy panorama in Portugal. So congratulations to PRF, to its CEO, and to all of its team. Here, Moisés in front of me. I have to say that I first heard of PRF when we were preparing a trip to Japan last year. And I have to confess my ignorance at the time. I thought that hydrogen was mainly mainly large companies that were interested in hydrogen, and it was my surprise, but a positive surprise, to see several companies in Portugal, not only the traditional ones, participating with knowledge, know-how, capacity. And it was really refreshing to see that Portugal's engineering capabilities and companies such as PRF can play a huge role in our energy transition. They've played a very important role in the energy sector in the last few years. We are going through a transition stage, and I believe that the capacities, the know-how, and the capabilities that PRF has amassed in the last 30 years will be a huge asset moving towards the future. And the Portuguese government, of course, counts on Portuguese companies and non-Portuguese companies. But since we are in an anniversary of Portuguese companies, I will say it like this: we really count on a vast array of companies, medium, small, large, to participate in this. Of course, the government has a huge role to play, but our role will mean nothing if we don't see the interest on part of companies to participate in this endeavor to build a carbon-free future. Portugal, as was discussed in this panel, has a strong compromise regarding decarbonization, and we see renewable gases as playing a very relevant role in that process. And when we talk about renewable gases, we talk about, of course, hydrogen, biomethane, biogas, and all the derivatives of those gases, mainly in the hydrogen area, ammonia and methanol. On our part, we are trying to create the conditions under which companies such as those present in this panel can then make their investments, their plans, their partnerships. So we wanted to be early movers in this. So Portugal has radically changed its gas law to adapt it to the demands of renewable gases. And so we tried to regulate the production, distribution, transportation, storage, and usage of renewable gases. We are currently also dealing with the more technical regulations, being on refueling stations, on technical regulations regarding the grid injection. We are also dealing with the environmental agency, mainly APA, with the challenges regarding licensing, industrial licensing, because we have to remember that all of these regulations were thought for gases and chemicals that were fossil. So we need to adapt that. We are currently working, trying to work as fast as we can to at least create some breakthrough in these areas. And we will use the Resilience and Recovery Program plus the more traditional European funds to support investment. So there will be capex. We use them to finance the capex side of our strategy, of course, and also helping projects and companies in Portugal alone or in consortium to apply for financing available at the European level. We have already supported several projects, signing recommendation letters for several European funds, the Innovation Fund, the Green Deal Call. Our objective is to give a robust financial framework available in Portugal that is directly managed by well, not the government, but the POs that deal with the execution of the European funds, but also, of course, to take advantage of the immense financing opportunities that exist in Europe. We are currently working on the other side of the ecosystem, so because we believe that all of this, as was mentioned in this panel, requires strong collaboration between, of course, public authorities and the private sector, between the private sector itself, between public authorities of different countries. But one of the key aspects in our, and that we mentioned a lot in our strategy, is that supply and demand must emerge simultaneously. So we've already launched a call for 40 million euros this year for projects on renewable gases, hydrogen, biomethane, and its derivatives. But we want to put in place a auction mechanism to support consumption. And we believe that this way we can close the circle. So we support production, we support investment projects and through European structural funds that provides a boost to capex, and we want to do the tenders to boost, and so there will be an OPEX support mechanism, not to producers, but to the users. We do this because producers need users and users need producers. So users need projects to produce that exist, and producers need consumers willing to consume and to do offtake agreements. So our tenders will do this. We will basically look for those consumers. We'll be neutral regarding transport and distribution. So this will be available for consumers that consume through the grid or for consumers that consume directly, be it in self-consumption or in other transportation modes. So we want to do this neutral regarding distribution and transportation, and we want to support directly the end user. And what we'll do basically is a carbon CFD, where we will look for those users that will need the lower difference between the existing carbon price and that carbon price that will make their activity viable. So all end users will be eligible, and also traders in gas, so comercializadores, as we call them in Portugal, will always also be able to participate. We will try to do a presentation on the general guidelines of our first hydrogen option no later than the first week of April, ideally in the beginning of April. We are also working with the regional POs for the future European funds, not the Resilience and Recovery Program, because renewable gases have a strong decentralized component. So it is important that other funds are available, and not only the funds that in Portugal we call the ones managed more by the central government. So the national programs, we will also want to make renewable gases eligible for the different regional programs available in Portugal, because we believe that if the energy transition will be probably one of the main investments, one of the most significant investments we'll have in the next 10 years, renewable gases will play a very important role in that. So to wrap up, we on the government side are doing our best to create the conditions, the broad conditions under which different typologies of projects can move forward, being the injection in the grid. I don't want REN to feel pressured, but for the injection of the grid to be a strong ally to decarbonization, guarantees of origin are a must. And because many times people talk about decarbonization of industry as requiring self-consumption, but we can do it through the grid with guarantees of origin. So even if we have 1% or 0.5% in the entire national grid, a particular company or a set of particular companies can buy the entirety of the guarantees of origin. And although physically they will only consume small amounts of the hydrogen, through the guarantees of origin, they can have the same result, not physically, but in terms of emissions, as they would have if they have a hydrogen production facility in site and consumed it directly. That's why we want to do our auctions neutral, because a company can install an electrolyzer next door, produce it and consume it directly. A company can buy from someone who has an electrolyzer close by, or it can be supplied by the grid, by the gas grid, and then buy directly from producers' guarantees of origin. So these are different ways that in the industry or transportation we can do both. Although in transportation you will need the physical hydrogen to do it. So but for industry this is clearly our view, and that's the reason why we believe that an auction that supports consumers and it's neutral regarding self-consumption or injection in the grid is the right way to move forward, to select those consumers more for whom decarbonizing with hydrogen is they value the most. So the willingness to pay if an injection of a certain percentage in the grid, well, the willingness to pay is the willingness to pay of the average consumer. With guarantees of origin, the willingness to pay is the willingness to pay of that specific consumer that bought. So we can decrease the amount of subsidies involved. And why? Because we are dealing directly with a company that has a higher marginal valuation of switching from a fossil source to a renewable one. Well, and now I will wrap up. Thank you very much. I wish that PRF has 30 years more, or 60 years more, or 90 years more, well, many years more, and that you continue the success that you've had in the last 30 years, and that you will be a partner of the government and of Portuguese industry and Portuguese companies to tackle successfully this huge challenge, which is to achieve carbon neutrality in 2050. And we have a very demanding goals to achieve in 2030, and of course we count on PRF for that too. Thank you very much.
Mr. Secretary said thank you, and if I quite understood, you leave us with good news that the hydrogen auctions are really going to be a reality, and there is already a timeline for them to go forward and to become a reality in Portugal. So we are talking about April. And then
for the first presentation of the general outline of the we'll not launch the auction in April, just we'll present the model of the auction that we want to
and then for them to happen not already a date.
No, we want to meet with we want to do sessions, public sessions with the potential users.
Okay. Like you did for the solar action. Okay, we will be here to watch.
One thing more, we want to give enough time for producers and consumers to coordinate themselves. We want to announce the capex support. We already did that. Then we want to announce the general lines of the auction model, and then we want to give time for potential consumers to articulate themselves with potential producers. It is coordination here is key, and when we talk about having production, supply and demand at the same time, it involves complex coordination efforts, but I think we can do it.
Okay, we will be here to watch all of that happen. Thank you so much, Mr. Secretary of State. We know that you have another meeting to go, so thank you for closing our debate. Thank you so much for your presence. Thank you. So this is the end of our debate. I don't know, Moisés, if you want, in the name of PRF, if you want to say something to end our session.
Hi, just received a text from Gordon. He's having some issue on the Zoom connection, so I think he cannot join. But the last remarks, I want to thank again all of the participants. It's been a pleasure to work with all of you in the last years, and I hope to still working on the future. And thanks for everything and the nice words that I just heard today. I think it really makes the day of PRF team, and mainly to Paulo Ferreira. So thanks to all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very much. It was a pleasure.
You, and congratulations once again.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. And sorry about the lag. I had to about the quality of the image and my sound. It wasn't very good, but I had to go to another meeting. But thank you, PRF. We're all amazed that Pablo was not here with us. But in any case, thank you very much, and congratulations for running such a great company.
So thank you to you all. Thank you for this great debate. I think that we learned a lot. We learned a lot today. Thank you for bringing your views, your innovation that you are developing, your projects, and thank you. And we will see each other another time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
See you. Bye bye.
Abraço, Moisés. Abraço a todos.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Obrigado. Até breve.
Obrigado.